Welcome to Nightmare Whispers, where the shadows hold secrets that refuse to stay buried. I'm your host, and tonight we're diving into a Halloween special that'll make you rethink the safety of your neighborhood streets. This is a true story from my own life, a Halloween night that started with candy and costumes but ended in a nightmare I can't escape. It's a tale of innocence lost, set in a small American town where the line between trick and terror blurred forever. So, lock your doors, dim the lights, and join me for a story that still haunts me every October. But be warned, some doors once opened can never be closed. Picture this.
It's Halloween 2010, and you're 14 years old, trick-or-treating in a sleepy Indiana suburb with your little sister. The streets are alive with jack-o'-lanterns and kids in costumes, and you're her protector for the night. But what happens when the monster isn't in a costume, and it knows your name? This is my story, and it's why I'll never go trick-or-treating again. I grew up in a small town outside Indianapolis, the kind of place where everyone left their doors unlocked and Halloween was the biggest night of the year. Our neighborhood was a maze of cul-de-sacs, each house decked out with carved pumpkins, fake gravestones, and those inflatable ghosts that swayed in the breeze. I was 14, a freshman in high school, and Halloween was my thing. I'd spent weeks planning my costume, a zombie pirate, complete with torn clothes and cheap makeup from the dollar store. My little sister Ellie was 8, dressed as a fairy princess, her pink wings bouncing as she clutched her candy bucket. Our parents trusted me to take her trick-or-treating, and I felt like a hero, her big brother keeping her safe. We set out at 6 p.m., the sky already darkening, the air crisp with that October smell of leaves and candy. Ellie was buzzing with excitement, skipping from house to house, her bucket filling fast. I trailed behind, half embarrassed to be seen with a kid but secretly loving it. The streets were packed, kids as superheroes, witches, even a few creepy clowns, which were big that year. Neighbors handed out full-size candy bars, and Mrs. Larson, our next-door neighbor, gave Ellie an extra Snickers because she looked too cute to scare anybody. By 8 p.m., Ellie's bucket was heavy and my feet were sore. We'd hit most of the houses on our street, but Ellie begged to do one more loop down Maple Drive, the quieter end of the neighborhood. It was a dead-end street, lined with older houses and fewer decorations. I hesitated. Maple Drive always gave me the creeps with its overgrown yards and that one house at the end nobody seemed to live in. But Ellie's pleading eyes won me over. "Just one more street," I said, ruffling her hair. "Then we're done." As we walked down Maple Drive, the vibe shifted. The street was darker, the streetlights dimmer, and the sounds of laughter from the main road faded. Most houses were lit, but a few were pitch black, their porches empty. Ellie didn't notice, too busy counting her candy, but I felt uneasy, like someone was watching us. Halfway down the street I saw him, a man standing on the sidewalk maybe 50 feet away. He was tall, wearing a long black coat and a wide-brimmed hat, like something out of an old movie. No costume, no candy bowl, just standing there motionless. I figured he was a dad waiting for his kid, but something about him made my skin prickle. "Ellie, stay close," I whispered, pulling her toward me. She looked up confused but kept walking. The man didn't move, but I swear his head turned, tracking us as we passed. His face was in shadow, but I felt his eyes. We knocked on a couple of doors, but the houses were stingy. Old candy, half-melted Tootsie Rolls. Ellie complained, and I promised we'd head back soon. That's when I noticed the man was gone. No footsteps, no sound, just gone. We reached the end of Maple Drive, where the last house sat, a crumbling Victorian with boarded windows and a sagging porch. Everyone called it the haunted house, a place kids dared each other to touch on Halloween. I never believed the stories, ghosts, missing kids, the usual small-town nonsense, but standing there, I felt a chill that wasn't from the October air. Ellie tugged my sleeve. "Let's knock," she said, her eyes wide with excitement. I laughed, trying to play it cool. "No way, kiddo. That place is a dump." But she was already halfway up the path, her fairy wings glowing under the moonlight. I chased after her, hissing, "Ellie, come back!" She reached the porch and knocked before I could stop her. The sound echoed loud and hollow, like the house was empty inside. I grabbed her arm, ready to drag her back to the street, when the door creaked open. Not wide, just a crack, revealing nothing but darkness. No one was there. Ellie giggled, thinking it was a prank, but my heart was pounding. "We're leaving," I said, pulling her back. That's when I heard it. A low whisper from inside the house, soft but clear. "Ellie." I froze. Ellie's smile vanished. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. I didn't answer, just yanked her toward the street. The whisper came again, louder, saying my name this time, "Tommy." It wasn't a voice I knew, but it was calm, almost friendly, like it was inviting us in. We ran, Ellie's candy bucket swinging, spilling Reese's cups onto the grass. I didn't look back until we reached the main road, where the lights and laughter of trick-or-treaters felt like a lifeline. When we got home, I locked the door and checked every window. Ellie was shaken but didn't want to talk about it. I told our parents we'd just gotten spooked by some older kids, but I couldn't sleep that night. The whisper kept replaying in my head, and I kept seeing that man in the black coat standing in the dark. The next day I asked around about the house on Maple Drive. A neighbor, Mr. Jenkins, got quiet when I mentioned it. He said it had been empty since the 1970s, when a man who lived there vanished on Halloween night. Kids claimed to see him sometimes, always on October 31st, wearing a black coat and hat, watching from the shadows. For years, I tried to forget it. Ellie and I never went trick-or-treating again, and we avoided Maple Drive. But the story doesn't end there. Last year, I moved back to our hometown after college, renting a place a few streets from our old house. On Halloween night, I stayed in, handing out candy to kids. Around 9 p.m., the doorbell rang. I opened it, expecting another group of trick-or-treaters, but no one was there. Just a single candy bar on the doorstep, a Snickers, Ellie's favorite. Wrapped around it was a piece of paper with 2 words written in shaky handwriting. "Come back." I called Ellie, who lives in Chicago now. She was fine, but said she'd had a nightmare that week about the house on Maple Drive, hearing our names whispered in the dark. I burned the paper and haven't told anyone else. But every night I check my locks twice and I keep a light on. Because deep down, I know he's still out there, waiting for us to return.
That's tonight's Nightmare Whispers Halloween special. This story taught me that some nights, scariest things aren't the costumes or the decorations. They're the shadows that know your name. If you've got a Halloween horror story that keeps you up at night, share it in the comments or send it to our channel. Subscribe, hit that bell, and join us next time for more Whispers from the Dark. Happy Halloween, and maybe skip that last house on the block.